Hey guys, welcome back to the new episode of MageCafe. I'm your host Bharat from Codilar Technologies, Bangalore, and today's recipe is Magento 2 REST APIs. For today's example, we'll take a simple product API, so let's get started. Hello guys, let's start our API recipe. So our module name is demo under Codilar, so it will be Codilar demo. Each module will have its own registration.php. We have ours, and in etc we have module.xml. So these two are most common files for any of the module in Magento 2. If you don't know how to make a simple module, I'll give a link in the description. You can go through it and you can learn how to make a simple module in Magento 2. So today we'll be making a custom API of our own. So before making an API, let us know what is an API. API stands for Application Programming Interface, which means it's an interface between two applications. Example, you have an PW application which uses Magento 2's data. So how do we interact between each other? We'll be using these APIs. Magento will define some of the APIs for each and every data, and PW application will call those API using some root, which means URLs. So Magento has made its own so many APIs for product page, listing page. We have so many APIs, you can go through it later. So today we'll be making our custom API. So before making an API, let us know what are the ingredients we need to make an API. So first thing will be URL of the API, which will be hit by a PW application to the Magento application. Next thing will be input. For some APIs, you need to use some input. For example, if you're making a product API, you'll set a product ID as the input. So using that product ID, it does some manipulation and gives back the response or an output. Third thing, which is response actually. Response or output, you can say it. Mostly all of the APIs will actually give the response in a JSON format. We look into each other. So these are the three main ingredients of API. So let us start building our own APIs. To build an API, first thing, in etc we have an web api.xml. There is an XML file wherein which we define multiple APIs in this module. So it will have an route in which you define our URL. So this is the first ingredient, URL, and URL will be given like this, /v2/ any name I given as product, because today we will be looking into a simple how to make a simple product API which sends only limited data whichever we want. Then we give a name as get product by ID, and this is an argument which is sent, which is the product ID. And then this API has some methods which has as get, put, post, delete. Today we'll be looking into some simple get request. So inside this route we have a service which we make as class. So when the other application hits this URL with the method get, it internally calls this class. This class actually it's an interface in which the method is get product by ID. Then we have resources. So these resources reference to who are the people who will be using this. If you mention is as anonymous, anybody with this URL can hit this API from any of the web browser or any of the application. They'll get the result sending this ID. So there are many things in these resources such as self and ACL rules. We look into in future what are the different references we can give. So let's concentrate on this file now. So this is an interface. It says product repository interface Codilar demo API. So we'll go to that Codilar demo API product repository interface in which we define get product by ID, which takes one parameter, that is ID to itself. So this is the same parameter which is sent here. If you want to send one more parameter, you can send one more parameter like this and send something else whatever you want, like type, where you can say simple, configure, anything. So for today we'll just look into one parameter. So this is an interface. So this has to return something. What it returns in JSON format. So before writing any return, so let us know how the JSON format of our API looks like. We need to plan the JSON format so that it will be easier for us to do the manipulation or data or whatever we want. So our JSON format would be something like this. So it has an ID and SKU of the product, name of the product and description, and we'll send price and images. So we are not making it as complex as Magento has done its own product API. It will be a simple product API. So this is a valid JSON format. So to this JSON format, what is the return type? So when you come here, see this actually returns Codilar demo API data product interface. So that means this is returning this interface. How do we define it? So you saw the JSON format. So this is the JSON format. So to define this JSON format, Magento has come up with its own structure, wherein which we define each and every getters and setters for this ID, name, description, everything. That will be done using an interface. So how is it done? So this is an interface product which has get ID, set ID. All the getters and setters for each and every parameter in your JSON structure. So coming back to this, so these two are the two interfaces which we define, wherein which the entry point of the API will be this and the return of this will be this product interface. So this is just an interface. So every interface will have its structure. In Magento 2 we have something called dir.xml, where you write a preference for every interface in its model, where the definition of the interface will be given. So for our product repository interface, it is under model product repository, and for our product interface it is under model data product. So let's look into product repository interface first. No, let's look into our response first. So how the response will be, you go to model data and product. So this class product which implements that product interface which we defined here, this all the getters and setters of all the fields which we have. So and in this product we extend a data object which is class Magento framework data object. What this data object does is it helps us to set and get the data by its own. It makes an object of the class so that it will be very easier for us to send the response or do any manipulation in data. So first will be get ID and set ID. In the get ID, we'll do any of the get will have this of get data. Get data is it's an object, it's a class of this data object. So this is get data and we'll send our what is the ID. It's any of the thing which is reference for particular setter. This is actually a getter. Then in setter, the same ID we should be used as ID, and we'll send the parameter as ID and it will be set to it. So internally this manages the whole thing. Then coming back to our interface, while making an API, comments are very important because this comment, Magento reads these comments and understands what type this returns. For example, this ID returns a type integer. Then coming back to SKU returns a string. So writing the comments is very important in Magento 2 API whenever you're making, especially an API. So our main concern is it's an image. When you look into this, so this image is an array of string. So how do we send an array of string? In the comments we'll mention as array of string, and it returns array of string. It's product images. That's all. So here all we mention getters and setters for every of the field. Coming back to next is our product repository, where we define what actually the API does and how that response is written. So when the API is it will come to this function with the parameter ID. So inside this we have a product interface. This is product interface factory is of this. Or it is very important to create a factory because every time we need a new object of it. So now coming back to product repository, so we get this data here. What is this? We load the product first. So let us load the product by product repository and get by ID. So this gives us the actual product using the ID. So next is this interface will have all the setters. We'll set each and every setters for it. Set id, product of get id. That product will get the id and we'll set into this our interface, which will be returned in by this. So finally you'll set everything and you'll just return this response interface, the actual object of it. So by internally Magento handles these objects and makes it in JSON format and sends back. Let us look at demo of this. So we'll be doing it using Postman. So this is our URL. So this is our Magento's base URL 127.0.0 Magento 2. After that we'll use REST because this is a REST API. And next comes is our product URL, which are URL which we define for our API. So let us look into this. So this always starts from V2 conventionally because Magento has done everything in V1. So to differentiate between a custom and Magento 1, you can use V2. You can use V1 also, no problem. This product and product get by ID, and later we should send an ID. Let us send an ID 2, and ours is a get request, so it will be get only. So we send, this is our URL, this is our ID, and we'll click send. So this is the response which our API gave. So here we have ID2, SKU is test, the name is also test. This product doesn't have any description, so it's empty string. Price is $100 and is an array of images. So let us look into each and everything how we got this. Coming to this, so this is this product has every data of this product. So interface of set ID is sets ID, SKU sets, and name is also set. So where in description, see that product didn't have any description. So according to our JSON format, this should be a string. We should make sure that this structure is maintained whenever we return any of the data in Magento, or else in Magento might throw an error or something. So I'm checking it Magento here, product get description, then only I'm setting description, or I'm setting string. What happens if you set only this? You can set only this. This product doesn't have any description now. So what will happen if I hit the API? It came as null. According to our definition of a response, this null is not an actual response. It should actually be an empty string. So make sure whatever you give, it will be of proper response. Response always should be how you defined at the first stage of your API. So this is price. So you can see $100. How did I make this as $100 is one of the questions. So you can use some of the helper functions where I used here for product helper, where in which we have this format price, where we take a price helper of data which is of Magento framework price helper data, which helps us to get the currency, so that it will be very easier when you send a response. They can know which format the price is coming, or else you need to include one more what can you say, one more field for currency. So we can append it so that it will be very easier for other applications to render the data very easily, especially in PW application. You don't need to modify the data which comes from the response. So coming back to product repository, so here we set everything. So how do we add one more field? For example, here I want to add one more field such as special price, which will be again a string. So this is a valid JSON. So let's add how we'll add special price into our own custom module. To add special price, first we need to change our product interface, this response. So we'll add one more field to it, which will be, we'll have setters and getters for the public function. this function should have its own comment. So return type of this special price will be a string, so we'll give it as string. Now we got getter function. Next write a setter function for this public function. Which takes a parameter special price. So for this we need to generate, so parameter which takes it will be a string, and always the return type of setters will be $this, because it will be easier for us to write something like this: product interface of set, or else we can make it like this. This and this are both same, there is no much difference in between these two. You can set. So coming back to our product interface, so now we define both of the new setters and getters for special price. This interface, so this class extends its interface, so it will obviously throw an error saying all the interface functions aren't defined here. So let's define here. It will return get data. Data will be special price, so that gets data, and this one will be set data. Set data will have this same thing, special price, comma, and what is that? This special price. So now we have two new getters and setters for special price. Now we need to set these two data into our product repository. So till images we have set, next one will be our special price. So let us see what actually happens. So whenever you change anything, it is important to clean the cache. Let's clean the cache. Okay, cache is cleaned. So let's go to our so we'll hit the same URL and see what the response we get. Any moment, because we clean the cache, it takes time. Okay, something is went wrong. Let's see what is it. It is okay, so this was the error. So we changed in XML file, so cache clean again. Okay, cache is cleaned. Let's hit. So any changes in XML file, we are supposed to clean the cache in Magento 2. Note it down. Any moment now. Okay, see, the special price came null because we did not set the special price in our product still. Where it comes in product repository here, set IDs, set SKUs, set names, set description, price, images. We should set product interface, set special price. What will this price be? This will be product get special price. So now we can see if the product has special price, it will have set special price. Let's see what we get. Right. I think this product doesn't have any special price, so let's set a special price for this product. We'll go to products, its ID is 2, so let's see. price says 100. Okay, let's go to catalog products. Let's see. So advanced pricing, so no special price, let's keep 50. Done, save. So now this product with id 2 has a special price of 50. So what does this API response now? It gave 50. See, you can see the difference between these two because I haven't used our helper function. I just called what that Magento functionality does. So this doesn't give any information, can give 50, what it can be, rupees, dollars, euros, anything. So for making it understandable, I return an helper function where we do this, where we append a currency to the append a currency symbol to the currency and return it. So that will be done here. So let's add that same thing to this, which will be our product helper of format price. So now we'll format this price. So now it should be formatted. So let's see what the response would be given now. See, it gave us $50. So any modifications like this you can do. Now coming back to this array of string. So that is also we are doing with using an helper function, wherein which get product image array and will send the product, which internally gives image URLs array and returns, and we are setting it to the same set images, which actually takes string or array of string as parameter and gives array of string as a parameter. So this is how you make your custom API. This is a simple API. So let's try to hit some other different IDs. For example, 4. So we have this is a simple product of a configurable product. I guess it's configurable test product blue. So what happens if you hit something ID which doesn't exist? Make sure that every API response should actually be in JSON data itself. So this is a valid JSON data, so it throws. How do you make this? It's simple. In Magento 2, you can set as no such entity exception something because this product ID doesn't exist, so it automatically throws an error which valid be in JSON format. So now let's hit something which has some configurable product, for example 6. 6 is a configurable product. So you can see it's a configurable test product, and description, we got the description now. It's a configurable product, 3 color red and green, price is 0, images are 0, special price is 0. This is 0 because all configurable product doesn't have prices. So if you send this only this data, it's not valid for any of the application to show this, because with this we should send our simple products of the configurable products. So you need to define an own different structure for it. So that will be going on a little complex, because object inside an object we should create. So that we'll do it in the next tutorial of our APIs. So keep a note on of our channel when you get the new updates videos, so that you'll get to know how and what to create a complex APIs. So this is a simple API. So if you give something like 7, it might give 7 it has. So that it's coming back to this. So I hope this video helped you in making your custom APIs. If you liked it, give a like and make sure you subscribe to our channel to get more videos on Magento tutorials, and keep waiting for a new update on the API in which we show our how to make a complex API. And for your surprise, in the next tutorial we'll give you a tool wherein which you can generate this file using the tool, because this file has only setters and getters, everything. If you look into this file, it looks like okay, we should type every setters and getters. So wait for our next tutorial wherein which we do a more complex product API, wherein which we send configurable products and configurable data, everything. With that, we'll give you a tool wherein which you can generate this file using our tool. This and da.xml. We'll explain the tool in the next video. Hope it helps you. Thank you. This is signing off, Bharat from Codilar. Thank you.